Hey, what's up, guys? Before the video starts, it is pretty much a review for many of you guys. This video I had originally put together and uploaded on my Cosmic Me channel about 4 or 5 years ago. I decided to upload it to this channel because I'm going to be switching things up a little bit. I'm going to start speaking more about social issues that has a very deep metaphysical impact on the collective in ways that people just aren't noticing or paying attention to. I've been saying this for years. This download situation is not new. The internet has simply brought more light to it, and that in America especially, there are more people who are coming forth and speaking on these things, and more are coming out and being honest. But at the same time, we have just as more or just as many who will refuse to admit and live authentically. And the people must understand the ramifications of homophobia in a society that creates and feeds the homophobia is literally nailing its own self to the cross. And I'm going to be breaking down and explaining this from a metaphysical, spiritual perspective. A sexually transmitted disease situation similar to the HIV AIDS pandemic in the 80s is well on its way, and it's all connected to all of this. I've been predicting this and talking about this for years. And check out this video, and again, I will be integrating more social issues that is sort of outside of what I normally cover, but the bottom line will still be the same. I will be pointing out the metaphysical, spiritual ramifications and also offer solutions. This one right here is a subject matter that I've been wanting to talk about for a long time. These download guys are everywhere, and they are more than plenty. Everywhere from the streets to the boardroom to entertainment, religion, politics. For those who have been living under a rock, the definition of download is a man, typically a man, who identifies and lives as heterosexual, but secretly have sexual relations or sexual affairs with members of the same sex. I want to get into the 5 types of download men that I have observed over the years. And my hope is that for the ladies especially, and some of the fellas, but more so the ladies, I feel for you. I really do. Because the women are always going to be the last to know of these things. With the rise in HIV, which some of this is definitely related to download behavior, and the betrayal of heart, and all that such a person brings to the bed of an unwilling participant, usually the woman, is not fair to her. And don't get me wrong, this is not a video to bash or put down men on the download, because I understand that perspective as well. If it were not for the extreme homophobia and the ignorance, a lot of these men would not feel that they would have no other choice but to pretend to be something that they are not. Now, I want to share with you guys 5 types of download men that I've observed and have come across over the years. Number 1, the laid-back download man. These are the types that tend to be very quiet. They don't make a lot of noise. These are the men who may not identify as gay, but they're not out there pretending to be straight to other women, but they may tell people in the public that they're straight, but they're really only dealing with other men. The next kind of down low man is the type who overcompensates. This is the alpha male wannabe, and some of them are alpha males. Yes, there are some down low men who are alpha males. They're super machismo. These are the ones who go out of their way to prove that they're tough, hard, and masculine. They're usually heavily involved in sports. They may be into boxing. They may like wrestling. These types of men are usually bottoms, meaning on the receiving end when they're in relations with men. Because usually these types of men, they're not being true to themselves, so they're going to have a sense of shame and self-hatred. All right, here we go. The staunch homophobic. These guys are those who are very, very loud and very, very vocal about how much they hate gays. These are the types who will bring up homosexuality and gay this and gay that when there's obviously no reason. If they're out and about and they see someone that they perceive as gay, they gotta make a scene. They gotta make it known that they are really, really bothered by someone who is in their vicinity, usually not even looking their way or paying them any attention. A lot of these types are on the internet with large platforms popping off the mouth about how anti-gay they are. Truthfully, they're on the down low. So the homophobia, for those who say this, they are not afraid of gays and lesbians or what have you, the homophobia is rooted in a fear of being found out that one is either engaging in same-sex activity or has desires for same-sex activity. If you are against something and you don't like something, do you just sit around all day and think about that or keep bringing it up in conversations? I can't think of anything that I don't like, but I'm constantly focusing on it and talking about it. So I don't want to hear anyone saying, well, they're anti-GLBT because they don't like it. These guys see gayness in everything. It's almost on a level of extreme paranoia. The player, the playboy, the sexually undisciplined types. These are the guys who are always talking to a different female, and they go out of their way to collect a lot of females to brag to their boys about, and they're sleeping with all of these females and getting multiple females pregnant, but they never seem to be able to stick with one or have a monogamous relationship or serious relationship with one female. They're messy. This is the best way, just sexually messy. There are a lot of people out there who still believes and think that if a man is rolling with a lot of women and making babies all over the place, he could possibly ever lay up with another man. But that's the whole point. This is exactly what they do. Really, all of these points, for the most part, it's the whole point. It is to make people think something other than what is. Next, the absent husband. This is the type who has a wife. There doesn't appear to be any marital problems, any marital tensions, but this husband never seems to be home. They always have an excuse as to why they can't spend quality time with the wife or make love. They're always too tired to have sex, or they're always on a business trip, or they always have something to do. They're not taking their wife out and spending quality time with her, but yet he's always seemingly making time to hang out with his quote-unquote boys. Again, none of these signs that I'm giving is indicative of one who is down low, but again, a down low man often distributes these traits. Now listen carefully. I'm talking about a pattern of behavior that is very common with one who happens to be on the down low. So if you know of a married man and their marriage is not turbulent, there isn't any serious issues going on, but yet that husband is emotionally unavailable, to the wife and he doesn't spend quality time with her. He's always on the go, always on business trip, always got an excuse as to why he's not home or can't be home as much, but yet seemingly always had time to hang out with his quote unquote boys. You better pay very, very close attention, because something about that situation may not be right. Until we create a space in the world where people can feel free to live their authentic self, there will always be people who will carry out this level of deception. And truth be told, some of the women help to create the kind of climate that we're talking about. For instance, women aren't shamed and put down and vilified for being bisexual, but you would find a lot of women, and even some women who are bisexual themselves, shaming men who may be gay or bisexual. So you cannot get upset and get angry should you meet a man who will pick up this from you, and who may, in some cases, genuinely like you, but he knows that you're not going to accept that part of him. And when he hides that part from you and you later find out, and then you get mad because he didn't tell you, you see what I'm saying? It's a catch-22. If you had not been as judgmental, maybe he would have been more forthcoming about who he was in the beginning, and you could have respectfully said, no, I'm not okay with that, but you don't have to shame and put down and vilify someone who happens to be a bisexual male. We have to think about the climate that we create when we feed into the homophobia and the ignorance, because it always come back home sooner or later. If it's not you, it could be your daughter, it could be your mother, it could be your grandmother. Yes, there's some down low elderly men out there. It could be any female who these men will use as unwilling participants to hide behind because of the kind of climate that has been created that makes these men too afraid or too prideful to simply come out and be true to themselves or about who they are. To any male who is on the down low and who is deceiving a female, real men do what the hell they want to do. They don't care about whether someone is going to like them or accept them. And ironically, a lot of men on the down low are more worried about what other men would think more so than the women. So to me, the most gangster thing anybody can do is to still own who you are, knowing that a lot of men will have a problem. That's real alpha right there. Truthfully, it's not about who you sleep with, because if sleeping with only women makes a real man, then we are in some serious trouble, because there are a whole lot of losers out there sleeping with women, only women, day in and day out. That does not prove a real man. That's not a sign of a real man. Again, this is a serious social issue. It is a social problem that if we don't do something about it, if we don't address it, the ramifications will eventually hurt us all.